Hey everybody, I'm John Granato. That's Josh Jordan. You can hear us on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. You can also see Josh's work at sportsmaphouston.com. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Josh, the Astros are scuffling, and Dusty keeps throwing Abreu in the cleanup spot. I know he's got a weird infatuation with veteran players who can't hit, but he continues to put them in spots where they yet a World Series MVP, he doesn't mind moving all over the lineup. I don't get it.
I'm exactly with you. You took the words out of my mouth. Third series of the season with Jeremy Pena, they move him out of the one spot. Third series. And we're into May, and we still have Abreu hitting cleanup almost every single game. I mean, what has Abreu ever done for you? Pena helped you win a World Series, so I just don't get it, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, but he loves his. Now, Abreu starts slow. We know Alex Bregman, he starts slow. He always does. Abreu is also a slow starter, but his bat speed, his exit velo, everything is indicating that this might be one of the worst contracts that they have. Now, it's still early. We're a month into it. We can't be crazy. But last year, he started to decline with his bat speed and his exit velo. But last year's stats, this year's stats, every single measurable is way down. And if he does get it back, that's going to be great. But until then, Dusty, move him down in the order. I know he's got a weird infatuation with left, right as well, right? But Kyle Tucker can hit lefties. Jordan can hit lefties. What's the difference if a lefty comes in? Because these guys can hit them way better than Abreu can.
No, absolutely. And you can move Bregman around, too, if you need that lefty-righty thing. I know Bregman hadn't been, terrific this year, but he's playing way better than Abreu is, that's for sure. And I thought it was interesting on your show, John, you brought up about how Crane's reluctant to do these long-term deals because they don't want to pay the final 3 years of those deals where a player's really declining and it's a lot of money. The Abreu deal is kind of just the last 3 years of one of these 10-year contracts where you're paying for a guy in his late 30s. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense at all, and it was when they didn't have a general manager. This is what they did. They paid Montero $34.5 million, and they paid Abreu $58.5 million when they didn't have a general manager. And this is what happens when you don't have a general manager. And Jim Crane wants to rely on baseball people more, but baseball people have got you in this kind of trouble as opposed to looking at numbers. They're looking at the player and paying him exactly what you didn't want to pay an older player at the end of his deal. Now, how about a young player, Yainer Diaz? Now, Yainer Diaz has looked pretty bad at times this season. I mean, he actually, the one game, he's swinging at pitches that were above his head, but he looked great in his last game. He had a couple of hits. He threw out a couple of runners. Is it time for him to start replacing Maldonado on a regular basis?
I would say at least twice a week. What's he playing, once every 6 days? How can you get any kind of timing and get used to playing in Major League Baseball when you're playing once every 6 days? I mean, you see Altuve swing at pitches over his head from time to time. I just think Dusty has to realize that this team, John, they're bottom third in OPS. They're bottom third in home runs. They're bottom third in slugging. They need some pop in the lineup. The pitching is still good by the numbers, but Dusty's got to get a feel for this and be like, we need more offense. We can't put these automatic outs in the lineup every day and expect to win ball games. So, yeah, Yainer's got to play more.
Well, Yainer's got to play more, and we thought Yainer would play some left field. We thought Yainer could be DH, and that's why you brought Salazar up so that you had another catcher. Those days are gone, though. Especially once Brantley and Altuve come back and Chaz comes back. Yainer can catch, but you don't need him in that role anymore. You can get rid of Salazar now, but you need to start playing Yainer more. I mean, Maldonado, we know what's going to happen. He is absolutely, without a doubt, going to come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. There is no question. This happens every single game. Apparently every time they get the bases loaded, Maldonado is at the plate. This has got to stop. We have got to, because you're right, all of those statistics about this team. Now, they're really good hitting the ball 7th inning on. So we know that they're clutch. We just know that the first 6 innings, they really are not that good. They're really, really bad in those first 6 innings. So you need more Yainer, and you need more Abreu at the back of the order so he comes up fewer times, Dusty. That's how this works, fewer times.
It has to. And one last thing with Yainer, it's just, you're not even using him to pinch hit. Why are you carrying 3 catchers if you're not going to use him in that role where Maldi's coming up? And I don't want to hate on Maldi too much because they don't pay him for his bat. They pay him to catch. These other guys got to get it going, and when the circumstances call for it, get him out of there and give Diaz a shot.
But if Yiner's throwing out runners the way Maldi does, which he did the other night, and if he's calling a great game for Hunter Brown, I mean, let's get some more offense. What's the downside here?
I'm with you. I'm just kind of arguing with knowing how Dusty sees things. I know he's not going to replace Maldi, but at least could we get Yiner twice a week to get to play?
Maybe.